This is the last part of the Embedded Event Manager lab. This is only an exercise in order to evaluate our regular expression skills. So the action item number 5 is configure a script that will check for public IP addresses in your config every time someone changes the configuration. Create a syslog alert and send a message to the console. So the objective of this lab is avoiding someone configure some interface with a public IP address within your private routers. It is a bad practice to use public IP addressing within your private network. You really should not do it because this can introduce some future errors. I have seen people redistributing public IP addresses within internal routing protocols, and this can disrupt some applications. Remember that some public IP addresses are well known. So, for instance, if you use the public IP address 1.1.1.1 and you inject that IP address into your routing protocol, you can disrupt some applications that use that public IP address. This is a usable IP address, and so you don't want to have public IP addresses on your routers. So this is the script that does something like that. Let's go ahead and do it. Event manager applet, now public IP address, and we're going to check for the event when we detect a config change within your router. So first of all, we're going to go to first action, enable, and then we're going to, at the second action, we're going to enter a syscall command in order to know what are my connected routes. So if I enter show IP route connected, and I filter those that has something similar to 32, in order to start filtering and getting all the lines that have that has a 32. It could be what I am looking after is those that has 32 mask address. So I'm going to go for each action. First action will be for each iterator within the clear result. So the result of this command went into this variable. So I'm going to go into this variable and examine it line for line. I'm going to set up some variables that I'm going to need a bit later on. And then I'm going to use my first regular expression. So with this regular expression, I'm going to try to find all the lines that include this mask. I'm going to find, try to look at look for and find this string with it each iterator, and I'm going to place the results in match and sub. So next I'm going to see if I found something with the command the action string length of the result match. So if that is successful, if match contains something, when you use this action, the result goes into string result. So if we found something, this means that we found a line that actually contains this string. Um, I'm going to again reset these values because I'm going to use a regular expression again. Now this comes the difficult regular expression. I'm going to find within this iterator, which is each line that comes from this command, all that lines that are not compatible with private IP address. So this regular expression is going to be a little bit hard to understand, to be honest. So I'm going to find all the lines that begins with a 10 and then a dot. That means all the IP addresses that starts with 10. That will cover all the private IP address of the 10.0.0.0/8. Or all the lines that begin with 172, then a dot, and then any of these values, 172.16 or 172.17 or 172.18 or 172.19 and so on. So I'm going to include all the possible private octets that start with the octet 172. That remember that those are also private IP addresses. And then a final dot. Or all the strings that begin with 192 dot 178 dot. And I'm going to look that at each iterator. Remember that the iterators are the lines that came from executing this command. And the result, I'm going to place it in match and sub. So now I will again test for, let me see what number I was, 110, okay, action 120. I'm going to check the result, if something was found. So now, if the result that was placed in here, in this variable string result equals 0, that means that I found an IP address that didn't match this regular expression. Then I will have to issue an alert and I'm going to send that to um, the console as well. Then I'm going to end this if, and then I'm going to end the previous if, and then I'm going to end the for each loop. And that's it. So let's see our applet. Here it is. No public IP address. It will match this syslog. So when someone configures something, changes the configuration, I will do an enable. I will use this command, show IP route connected, in order to see in order to get these IP addresses, looking for the ones that include 32. Then I will look for the exact lines that contains an /32, because some IP address could be 10.1.1.1.32, so I'm not looking for that. I want to correct a little error here. I use connected with 3 ends. I'm gonna fix that. Okay, then I will going to through that output line per line, looking for the actual 32 addresses, and I will check if if I found these ones. I will see if what are the beginning of the IP address. So let's do a const. Nothing should happen, but let's configure a loopback and place the IP address, public IP address. Then the script finds that I used an incorrect IP address, because this one is being shown, or this one for that matter. It detected this one. So let's see what happens if I enter into gigabit 30 and I apply this public IP address. It will detect the previous one. let's remove the previous one. Now it detects the public IP address.